Hi, I installed OBS on Ubuntu, well, Kali, so I can record my little episodes from Linux now. You should be scared because I may be putting out there a lot more content than when I used to have to turn Windows on to record. Anyway, today's video is about Grafana and Prometheus. Minimal install with System Manager and Home Manager. I'm working on Kali, and as you can imagine, like, it's a bit of a pain in the ass to do it not in a declarative way, but it's also a bit of a pain in the ass doing it in a declarative way if you don't know what you're doing. So essentially, what I have done is the following. I have figured that we are going to get our product in front of like 50,000 developers soon, which means that people will start like bombarding it with submissions, which means that we need to do stress testing, which is something that I'm doing on that other monitor right now. And you can see our system literally doesn't give a shit. Wait. 41.3. Uh-oh. I think that something is wrong. Last 5 minutes. Oh, no, everything is fine. Yeah, as you can see, yeah, I just had a custom range enabled in Grafana. As you can see, a system doesn't give a shit. Like, I loaded it with a bunch of stuff. This stuff growing is not memory leaks, don't worry. This is garbage collector collecting compound amount of bytes freed by garbage collector. And this stuff is measuring how much input-output happened between the system and the ports. And this is memory usage. Banger. Like, we are so alive, which is amazing. It's like every time I remember that I hate Beam, like Elixir and stuff for being untyped, I think to myself, hold on, but Beam is so beautiful. Yeah, and someday we will be using like better programming languages, but the time has not come yet. So cool. How did we get here? Well, what we did was we collected the knowledge we got from writing and System Manager for doma.dev to create a unified set of configurations, like all the cool kids do. Call it Grafana. It consists of Home Manager as Flake and System Manager as Flake. So let's have a look at System Manager first. This is something that configures etc and systemd units system-wide. It also is capable of installing system-wide packages. Let's have a look at crawl space, which is the host where we are at right now. Sorry for this. So because Kali is basically Ubuntu, we enable it. We enable allow any distro for System Manager. Then all we configured on this host yet is Prometheus, and all we do here is just we're configuring Prometheus etc because we need to add jobs for it to scrape metrics. Cool. The way we use this then is we have in our System Manager in the main flake we have system configs for each host. So this one is for doma.dev. This one is for this laptop. As you see, we are importing system.nix, the file I have just shown you, but we also are importing Prometheus. Everything is a like flake shaped module. Let's have a look at it. It's very small. and we basically are writing our service config in the same way you would write like any other NixOS service config. It doesn't have description cry. And also we need to have this node exporter being up. I have cargo cooled it a little bit here, but if I understand correctly, this is like Prometheus, the kind of the backend for the front end, and this is the backend for the scraper. This is how I understand it. Don't quote me on that, or do. I don't care. Let's have a look at Home Manager now. Oh yeah, and you may notice that we have no Grafana here. The reason for that is that actually Grafana like complains really loudly when it's launched as root, which is probably a good thing. And actually maybe we don't even, now that I think about it, maybe we don't even need to launch Prometheus as root as well. It's just that like I'm an old school guy, so like when I'm thinking like system-wide service, I'm thinking, hey, like let's launch it as root. Cringe. Anyway, conversely, we have configured what's it called? Grafana here. And I didn't create a new folder for Grafana configuration, so it's a bit more uglier. I just made a single expression near my computer's set of expressions. So let's have a look at it. Yeah, so basically add Grafana to home packages, and then we configure it painstakingly. I spent a lot of time making the configuration work because Grafana has this weird notion of Grafana home path, which I honestly like kind of don't really understand. I mean, I think that it's just Grafana's weird way to say, okay, like where do Grafana related files live? And because Nix is like Nix store is immutable, we actually have to say, okay, look, have to tell Grafana, okay, look, like serve your static files, you know, have all your resources in your, you know, output of Grafana Nix package, but put all the mutable data elsewhere. Yeah, we're using here the magical XDG set, which is available to us from config in Home Manager. Let me think. I'm pretty sure that all of these directories were created by Grafana. So actually, let's have a look. Data home should be local. Share. Sweater. Yeah, so yeah, this is roughly when I was you know, creating my dashboard, so like 7 minutes ago. That looks correct. So basically, like Grafana is kind enough to be able to make mkdir if you know, if it doesn't exist. And also here, one thing to note is that you will see that in most of the tutorials online, they will say use Grafana dash server as a binary name, but it is deprecated. It's now like umbrella binary called Grafana, and server is a part of this binary. Yeah, so yeah, essentially there's not much going on aside from this. And also kind of don't worry about this, because when you sign into Grafana for the first time, it will ask you to change your password. So just put it in the password storage and you will be fine. And also it's only on localhost, so as long as you don't expose it anywhere, or as long as you have authentication in front of wherever you're exposing this to, you should be fine as well. So That's how we configured Grafana. Let's have a look now at the commands that we did to actually enable everything. So we go GitHub, Grafana, then we go to Home Manager, and here we basically we don't need root, obviously. So what we did here is just we ran Home Manager switch flake crawl space. I'll just run it. It's not gonna hurt anything. It will evaluate the derivation, then it will figure out what sort of side effects it needs to do, and it will activate it, linking. So it will create all the outputs in Nix store, and then as a side effect it will link the files in home to the objects that it created in Nix store. And now you can so now we use systemctl minus user. We can see Grafana status. As we see, it's active running, blah blah blah, and we can restart it. Journalctl also works the same way as you would expect. Journalctl user -u Grafana. You will see the whole all the logs that you need. Everything is banging. Now, in regards to Prometheus, obviously first, it doesn't matter in which order you're doing this, but it's logical to first turn on Prometheus. And to do this, we basically do the same thing, except obviously since we are running it as a system-wide service, we would do this, right? We would run it as root. We will switch again using flake to .hash crawl space, and this will create a unit. I don't remember where they are. Prometheus service. Yeah, as you see, it will create system manager static, blah blah blah, and cringe. That is very weird. It's because it's related. I don't know. It's sometimes I'm a bit stupid, yeah. So we can go here, and now RLS. Now RLS will work. Yeah, as you see, it will link to a precise place in Nix store. And we can read this to see that it's basically the same thing that we configured. And you can see that that this bit is injected by system manager, and this is the thing to which this bit of the config expanded to. Yeah. Let's have a look once again. Crawl space, no. Monitoring, Prometheus. Yeah, this is what this expanded to, thanks to Nix. And file is etc Prometheus YAML, which is something that we generate from crawl space system.nix. Awesome. So we have this stuff. Now you may have noticed that we are collecting some banging data, and we are collecting it from Elixir. So I'm just going to briefly show you the way we do it. So basically we have just installed a dependency called Promax, which automates a lot of data gathering from Elixir virtual machine Beam, Erlang virtual machine, yeah. The config is very simple. I decided not to mess with plugs. I decided to just simply add metrics server that Prometheus can gather metrics from. And then importantly, we want to have Promex to be the first child of in our OTP tree, so that it can start collecting metrics soon. This is auto-generated with mix task. I don't even know. I didn't change anything here. We're just collecting basic metrics. Obviously, we can. I will. Add more information about like queue size, which I mean our application level queue, which is something that we use to enqueue test task submissions to be evaluated and blah blah blah, stuff like this. Queue probably will go boop because currently our evaluations are a bit slow, and like during stress testing we just shelf a bunch of them. Like really basic actions, like 20 line diff, almost nothing I had to write except for configuration for a standalone metric server, and we got a lot of really useful information just out of the box essentially. So that's about it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope it was instructional and maybe even instrumental. No pun intended. Well, I'm lying. Some pun intended. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.